Let's have a look at the one that was given. Clear and obvious, was it? I mean, it took them a long time. They almost had their half-time cup of tea, whatever, and we're back out again. Okay, so tell me, what is the difference between that and the Gabriel Jesus one? Because that's what Arsenal fans are asking. What is the difference? Why didn't VAR get involved at Villa Park and did get involved there?
Hit the like button before you do anything else. Get that hit. Subscribe. Share this in your group chats. We've been waiting for official word on this. It hasn't come yet. I don't think it will. And if it does, it's going to go exactly the way this does. Take a listen here to ex-referee trying to explain, giving us a detailed, thorough explanation as the difference between the penalty that was rightfully awarded to Palace and not awarded to Gabriel Jesus. Take a listen.
Right, well, I was watching this game live. I didn't think it was a penalty at the time. I watched it and I heard the VAR say we're checking for penalty.
Again, it's irrelevant what you thought in real time. It was reviewed. They've changed their minds, which means they didn't see the contact. We're going to assume that's what it meant. So that should be your statement, not what you thought it was and wasn't. But I'll tell you in a moment why that's relevant.
My first reaction was, good luck with that. When I saw the replay...
Good luck with that. It's so wooden.
I thought he's going to give this. And the longer it went on, the more I thought he was going to give it. And I just think the more he watched it, the more he's convinced himself it was a penalty. The referee went to screen. It took a long, long time, but they gave the penalty.
That's not an explanation. At the beginning, I thought he was going to say, I don't think this is a penalty. I think they've made a mistake. Therefore, Arsenal shouldn't be a penalty. The inconsistency here was awarding the penalty. He didn't say any of it. He said, I wouldn't have given it in real time because I didn't think it was. But the more they've watched it, the more they've realized there was a foul and they gave the penalty. That's exactly what VAR is for. I don't call that re-refereeing games. I call it correcting mistakes. So you've got an ex-pro ref here to explain it to us. And by the way, he understands the protocol. He's still in contact with the people at PGMOL. That's what we get. And by the way, when Howard Webb comes out, if he indeed gets dragged out to speak about this, that'll be the same response. It's a non-answer.
Long time. Is that clear and obvious?
No. Right and wrong comes into it. Clear and obvious doesn't come into it for me. So you're saying there you didn't think it was a penalty straight away?
Not the first time round.
No, not the first time round. But then you're looking at it then thinking, right, it's a penalty. It's exactly the same as the Aston Villa one, where you look at it and go, he's kicked through him. Yeah. The Aston Villa one's more of a penalty for me than this one. This one, I look at it and go, I've listened to so many people talking about that one saying, really, can you give that? Listen, I think he does kick through him, but this one's more obvious for me.
Yeah, I just think if you give one, you've got to give both of them.
You've got to, and that's what we're after, isn't it? We're after that consistency.
What the remit was not to re-referee the game by VAR. Is that what they did at Selhurst Park?
Only they know, Rob. As I say,
why are you here? I don't even mean it horribly. Why are you here if you're not answering questions? He initially said, why was there no consistency between Palace's and Arsenal's? And he said, well, I didn't think Palace's was a penalty. Then he's gone on to say, and you heard it when the two ex-pros were talking, where he said, I didn't think it was a penalty at the start, and now I do. So still no explanation as to the difference. What he won't do is call out his colleagues for the inconsistency and say what we are all thinking and what we all know. Arsenal were robbed. Arsenal were cheated of a penalty. That's it, straight up. They're finding a way. The reason he's not going out on the limb, he ain't dumb, he's not a silly man, is because he doesn't want to put the PGMOL in a position that they cannot get out of. And until it's official word, they'll find a way of twisting it, just as they did with the Newcastle situation. They find a way of getting themselves out of a hole, and it is wrong. Now, this isn't the only thing that Arsenal fans have to be angry about. And this tweet here, I think it sums things up when it comes to referees as it stands right now. This is from Rory Talks Football, and he says here, when it comes to booking managers, what is the message they are trying to send to kids and grassroots? Celebrating a 97th minute winner, you get a yellow card and therefore a ban. But we have seen in the past few weeks, in this instance, Pep angrily getting in the face of a ref and pointing in his face. We have also seen Pochettino storm onto the pitch angrily. Neither have faced punishments. We have seen Haaland get in the face of referees, screaming, shouting, blood-curdling screams in his face. Zero response. People will have a go at me. I'm defending Arsenal again. It's not about defending Arsenal. I want consistency. One day, these inconsistencies that you as a football fan are not fighting to have resolved will damage you and your club. When they pick and choose who they punish, when they punish, what is and is not acceptable. And again, it's another absolute, in my personal opinion, cast iron disgrace.
Genuine contenders then? Of course they are. I don't think they'll win it.
Let's go back to that.
Do you think Villa are genuine contenders then? Of course they are. I don't think they'll win it. Actually, to be quite frank, Jeff, I don't think they'll win it. But I tell you what, I mean, I certainly didn't think Leicester would win it. So, of course, they're title contenders. Absolutely they're title contenders. As are Liverpool, Arsenal, Manchester City. After that, I'm not sure. But what a breath of fresh air, Unai Emery and Villa.
I really like Ali McCoist. I really like listening to him. Knows his football, great personality, he's fun. Used to love him on A Question of Sport years ago. Great guy. Don't know him personally, but he comes across like a top geezer. And I'm not calling him out personally here. I'm making this point. Have you noticed how Aston Villa are getting a lot of praise? Aston Villa are being considered as title contenders. No one's really angry about it because they're not really anybody's rival in the traditional top six, as it were. But you throw Arsenal in as title contenders, you're laughed at. No way, it's too early. Title races don't start now. Spurs, of course, suffered this. They certainly did. How dare we mention them in terms of title races now? When it comes to Aston Villa, nothing. Which is like I told you all along, the agendas against the top six teams that present themselves at times is all about tribalism. That's fine, in my opinion, from fans. But we shouldn't be hearing this at any moment, at any point, from the mainstream media. Their job is to be fair, accurate, on point, professional, especially with the fact that a lot of them are paid for by us, whether it's via advertising or directly paying fees. We want it done properly.
Blah, 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 blah.
What would the feeling around this club be if you can't qualify out of this group?
I don't know. What I know is I never think in a negative scenario. I think we think positive. And so we know what to do. We have to win to stay in Europe. So it's all about that.
I get what he's saying there. I get where he's coming from. He doesn't want to think about negative things. But let's just have it right. There's self-preservation in that. There is self-preservation. The message should be, it is devastating for this club to go out of the Champions League in the group stages. With what we spend, with the salaries these players are paid, it is an absolute failure, a rank failure to go out at this point. That's the message. Now, we're not thinking about going out in our day-to-day training. We are being positive. We are working hard. We want to succeed. But we know this failure is unacceptable at this club. That should be the message from a Manchester United manager at this point, and with the context of the situation that we find ourselves in.
Hi, Erik. Going into this season, going into the Champions League on the back of last season, what were your ambitions for the competition? Obviously, not to go out in the group stages, but did you believe you could go far in this competition, win the competition?
First, I don't think about winning the competition when...
Stop it. Get some help.
It's first get in a position that you can win. And so now we have still the opportunity.
See, I don't like that attitude. I don't like it in any way, shape or form. I don't think about winning it. Everything you did in the summer, everything you do in your terms of your preparation should be to win these trophies, surely. Surely. Or maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm completely wrong here. Let me know in the comments section, but doesn't sound great, does it?
No! God, please, no! No!
It looks to me that there ain't enough honest
and tough conversations being had between the players. And that was, I think, any successful side you talk about in any sport, in any business, you know what it's like. Them uncomfortable, tough conversations have to be had, whether it's an argument, whether it is that conversation in a meeting room where you're pulling people up. I don't think there's enough people in that changing room who are willing to go out on a limb and put someone's nose out of joint a little bit, put someone's hair out of place a little bit with a comment about performance, about body language, about the desire that you're showing on the pitch. Like, we used to get, I'd love to be in there where I want a video showing certain aspects of certain people's games as a team, but as individuals, and embarrassing a few people in a meeting and saying, look at this, can you tell me that this is right?
Do you know what? Listen, there's nothing Rio said there that I don't agree with. What I will say is this, and he may go on to say this in the clip in the video, and he probably understands this. The world is different now. The world is different now, especially when you're surrounded by losers. Losers are so often in a working environment or a sporting environment, absolute victims. Okay. And do you know what really winds me up about them is they often deflect attention away from genuine victims, people with real issues and real problems that need support and love and care. And that's what these Man United players are. They are victims. They are insubordinate, unprofessional children. Now, I have my issues with the manager. I have an issue with the fact he's even taken this job. I have an issue with the fact that he's trying to play a style of football that he has no pedigree of coaching. I have an issue that he's been buying players for a style of football that he isn't coaching and trying to make them all play in a different way, which, again, there's no proof they can do. That's him. These players, though, because this club has been unprofessional for 10 years, because this club has let its standards slip for 10 years, how they view professionalism, how they view the right behavior is warped. They do not have an elite mentality. And it's interesting because in my working life, some of my early jobs, I had bosses get in my face and scream at me when I did something wrong. I was spoken to sometimes in not a particularly nice way. My coaches, when I was part of Team GB, would sometimes be right up at you. Even as a kid, I remember a few times I complained to my dad. Dad, oh, my boss did this, or my coach said this. My dad's first response was, what didn't you do? And I would be honest and say, oh, I didn't do X, Y, or Z. So, well, fix it then, son. Go and be better. It was never, how dare they speak to you like that? How dare they put that pressure on you? How dare they have high standards? Man United have gone the other way. The Man United players get told off. The Man United players will get dragged into a room and told off by the manager. A clip of Rashford playing badly gets shown in front of his teammates. And I know what the attitude will be. It will be, how dare you make me feel this way? How dare you out me? How dare you treat me like this? I'm not working for you anymore. And the reason I know this is because I look at the losers that I come across day to day in society. That's how they are. Everyone I know from the banking world that I works in, everyone I know who owns their own business, everybody that I know that is successful. And when I mean successful in their own image. Because everyone has different walks of life they work in. You know, all jobs have different types of monetary earnings. So I don't just mean someone who's a millionaire. I think that's too specific an area that you're successful and you're not. Depends on what you want out of your life. But when I look at the successful people that have good careers, they're happy in their life, they're happy with their family, they're happy in their job. These people all have high standards of themselves. They can be criticized, they can be ridiculed, they can be told off. They can hold their hands up when they make mistakes. They don't throw people under the bus. They are not snakes in the grass. And the problem that this Man United team has got is due to the bad leadership from our owners, due to the consistent poor recruitment of managers who don't suit what we're trying to achieve as a club. We have no standards. We have no culture. There is no discipline. And when anyone tries to do it, the players throw their toys out the pram. And that has always been acceptable. And we, the fans, play a part in this. We do it all the time. We're all tweeting today when we've heard about Martial not getting his contract renewed, how sad that is. And it is. And I blame the club for a big part of that because every player has regressed. Every promoted player from the academy has either failed to reach their potential or regressed. So I don't do the player wars. The player wars that we set up as fans, as a general space here, Rashi versus Martial, Pogba versus Bruno, Varane versus Maguire, and there's been countless over the last decade. These things are doing the Glazers' bidding. These things damage our club further. We allow the victim mentality to reign true. And you are not a victim when you're a multi-million-pound professional football player being told that not tracking back is unacceptable. Not a victim. No manager is making these players bring their toothbrushes in and scrub the toilets. They're not being beaten. They're not being underpaid. They are not being, as far as we're aware, there's no sign of genuine bullying, genuine harassment, bigotry, anything that you could look at and go, that's something actually, that's a reason to down tools. That's a reason to feel hurt. That's a reason. That's a genuine victim issue. Someone that's a real victim of a real problem. These guys see being told, like those naughty kids who think when you tell them off, my son does it, he's 3, by the way. When he does something wrong and I tell him off, he acts like I've done him an injustice for a period of time. Once he calms down and I talk him through it, he understands. And each time, he's become better and better behaved. But he's 3, bruv. You're meant to get that from a 3-year-old. How have we got professional footballers at Man United with the cognitive ability of 3-year-old children, or the cognitive behavioral temperament of a 3-year-old child? It's because they're weak because of bad culture. So as I've said all along, sacking Ten Hag doesn't completely fix us. Just selling these players doesn't completely fix us. An absolute reset is needed. But that doesn't mean the manager is free of criticism. It doesn't mean the players are free of criticism. It means everything must be scrutinized. Everything must be moved out to fix this broken, fallen, absolute abomination of a football club. Hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you all again soon. Peace.